You can look at AWS and they've microserviced everything, so you can put it in for translation or for text or for audio, and you can train it into a data set. You can go to Azure's OpenAI, you can plug them in there, and you can literally build your own models and data sets and training again. Which part of it? Like ChatGPT, no, I don't think it is. It's not machine learning in its current form. It's not being trained on any new data to my knowledge, and it's not saving any information, they say. So the terms may change. So which part of it, right? It can extend into so many different parts and functions. Is it looking at forms? Is it looking at images and seeing who's the bad guy and who's the good guy? Yeah, there's so many different functions. You can train it to be whatever you want it to be. And I think we're, like I said before, at that precipice of something amazing. We've already just had the first part of it, and yeah, I think people are just playing with that to see what we can do, really.
The Venn diagram that I like to draw out when people ask me where does conversational AI sit would have a rather large circle of linguistics, a rather large circle of AI crossing quite nicely, machine learning, deep learning sitting within the circle of within the circle of AI and crossing over within linguistics, and you then break out into NLP, NLG, etc. Within there. I don't really think the interesting question is what is it now, but potentially what more subcategories are we going to find in the future?
Joining together.
And exactly where are they going to start joining together, and how can we do that more efficiently as well, in terms of from an ethical side, the current capacity that we're using to store these models with billions and billions of parameters. Can we shorten those down? Can we store them better? I think Zac and I were discussing before, there was a study that came out by 2050, some people estimate that upwards of 30% of processing power across the world could be just for storing and processing off the back of LLMs.
So in terms of AI versus ML, my stance is firmly that ML is AI, kind of, as Joel said, that it fits in. AI is an umbrella term. I think where there's maybe some confusion is when we talk about general intelligence, or when we talk about artificial general intelligence, you know, a model which you can give something and it does the thing you want it to do just generally. It could be anything. And I think we're still a way off that. The scary thing with things like ChatGPT and Bard is they do a really good job at giving the illusion of general intelligence. But as we've discussed earlier, garbage in, garbage out. We've seen examples of things like you ask for a code snippet and it will actually give you libraries that don't exist, and then those are exploited by hackers who put that library into existence, but it's malicious code. So yeah, artificial general intelligence is different, and I think we're a way off that, but we're definitely moving in that direction. And there has been instances where, you know, it's crossed a line, it's treaded that border. Is it bordering on general intelligence? I think we'll find out in the next few years if we're anywhere close.
It's a trick question, right? So it depends on your definition, but I think there was some professor who, I think it was a professor who once said, why do you call it AI? It's all machine learning. But actually, I also agree that, you know, the more general term is AI, and if you think about it, you know, artificial intelligence, which means something that mimics something that a human can do, whether it's well or in a, whether you're persuaded by it or not, that's a different question. So, I mean, in a way, both pattern recognition or image recognition, speech recognition, it's all AI, but it also uses machine learning or has used machine learning. What was the other thing? Yeah, so large language models have taken off so well because the interface is suddenly accessible to the common person. Large language models have existed for some time, but nobody had access to them, or only academics or researchers, whatever, had access to them, and that's why we weren't talking about that before. And now we use natural language, which is the most natural medium of communication. which means that everybody can get both a taste of AI, machine learning, all the related NLP, NLU, conversational AI, conversation design, everything. They can get a taste of that, but also the illusion that it's as good as a human, or can pass as a human. And that's why we, even though it's AI, I mean, AI should not be the goal. We should always be thinking about use cases and also ramifications of a use case. So if you want, so would we want general AI, and why? And then what would be the impact of that? What would be, what it would mean for human relationships, for our own view of our self-worth? Would we feel superfluous in a society? Geoffrey Hinton said that humans may just be a step in evolution. We evolved to develop the large language models, and now our job is done. So that's also, it's possible. We're going to see. But what was the other thing? That in order to, even large language models depend on humans. So even Bard and Bing and ChatGPT depend on very poor people in developing countries seeing the result and putting a tick or a cross. And so these AI, they're called AI slaves, and they're everywhere, and they will be everywhere, whether for the training data or for reviewing the output. And there is, in fact, a new mental health emergency, which is these same people who literally take pennies a day, they get paid pennies a day to look and model and annotate really disturbing material, even if to say, you know, do not show that ever, or block it, or whatever, ban it. Yeah, we need to think of whether we want super AI and why, and also what it will do to the humans in between.
Just one last thing. So, has anyone heard of Roko's basilisk? Anyone heard of that? No. A friend of mine messaged me earlier about this. So apparently there's this theory that when we do get the singular super intelligent AI, and we built it exists, then their first job was to come back to any of us that didn't believe in it and didn't buy into it, and they'll kill us or something like that. So there's people who are thinking that way. And also, fun fact, that is a adult version of the game. So for those of you who know the game, you've all lost the game.